All right, good morning, everyone. My name is William Echevarria. I am an educator, I am an investor, and I'm also a problem solver when it comes to very technical items and also finances. So today, this is going to be the second week of about a 12-week course that we've been putting on for Freedom Financial Fridays. Okay, so what I would like to get into first and foremost is going to be on the mindset about this. All right, so success is a mindset, and we have to learn how to create a positive one. There's a quote that I took from Bo Norton. So a lot of us want to go through life and we have these aspirational goals of what we would like to do with our money, what kind of like milestones we would like to hit. Everyone likes the idea of let's make six figures first, and then we go off into wanting to be a millionaire. Now, the thing about it is the mindset that we have to be in to become those individuals is something that cannot be neglected. When you want to be a millionaire, there's certain things that have to happen, right? It's not just like the idea of, oh, I'm just going to inherit this from someone, or I'm going to win the lottery, or something of that nature. Like I'm just going to hit a home run out of the park and we're good. When you listen to those individuals who have got that kind of like affluence that quick, you realize those stories of they lost all their money within 2 or 3 years. They, got bankrupt. You've never seen where they were at because their mindset's not there. They don't understand how money works. They don't understand the emotional connection to that. They don't understand, the mindset that you have to be in when you're dealing with money like that. So first and foremost, when you start talking about your financial acumen, your financial blueprint, your plans, there's a discipline and there's a structure that you have to follow, right? You just can't say from one day to the next, hey, I'm going to be a millionaire. Like that takes time, especially, in today's economy. It can't just be because you're saving money or just making more money. You have to have money work for you. That way you can accelerate it. You can definitely hit these milestones. And the more disciplined you are, the clearer your vision is, and your blueprint makes sense, you can do that. And then once you figure out the first million, which is typically everybody's hardest, the second, third, and fourth are inevitable because you already know the blueprint. You already know what it takes. Now it's just a matter of having time on your side so you can do this. All right, so here's a wonderful quote by Warren Buffett. If you don't find a way to make money while you sleep, you will work until you die. All right, that's pretty self-explanatory, but I want to share with you a little bit about what that means to me. So a lot of us that are entrepreneurs, we end up being independent business owners. That's kind of like the first step in the rite of passage, right? What ends up happening is we take on all these responsibilities. We end up being our own boss. We make our own money. Everything feels great until all of a sudden tax season comes around. And then we're all panicking. We're franticing a little bit. We're trying to figure out exactly, how to make ends meet. Eventually we figure it out and we keep going. What we fail to realize, though, is that we're a slave to our own business. We keep on paying and paying and making money, but we're the only talent. If all of a sudden we were to fall sick or want to take an extended leave or a vacation or something like that, our business suffers. And we all have noticed that. If you're an entrepreneur and you're on this class, more than likely you've seen this happen at some point, way or shape or form. So what a lot of people like to do is you need to create systems. You need to put things in place, whether it's a sales team, whether it's a bigger business, whether you need to hire and backfill and start leaving the operator mentality and start acting more as an owner. That way you're not working in the business as much as you're working on the business. So with this concept right here, you definitely need to find a way to make money while you sleep. Okay, wherever that may be, whatever your industry is, whatever your solution is, but the idea is you got to figure out a way to make money while you're not actively being the operator on it. Pretty straightforward, right? All right, so I want to start getting into this concept of investing. And once you start seeing this concept is a very crucial principle. Once you see this principle, you're going to start understanding how when you start evaluating different opportunities, what makes the most amount of sense. All right, and this caters into the mindset principle. When you have opportunity A or an opportunity B, how do you actually determine which one's the right one, right? You got to look at the numbers. It can't just be about a gut feeling or emotional. A lot of this has to be logically driven, and then the emotion comes afterwards. So Albert Einstein here, he has this other quote. Compound interest is the eighth wonder of the world. He who understands it earns it, and he who doesn't pays it. It's very simple, but I want to go into a little bit more detail with that. When you start looking into investments of any type, there's a concept of standard interest and then compounding interest. Compounding interest is just interest on top of interest, right? So that's your money working for you. Now, the same way that you can get into an opportunity where your money is doing that and it's stacking and stacking, and as you can see, you need time on your hands. For an example, if I have $100 that I put in there and I get a 10% return on my money, that means at the end of the year, I will get $10 off of that 100 that I put in there, right? The following year, though, I get 10% on $110, right? So now I got $11 on top of that. The third year, now I have $121 with a 10% on top of that. And as you can see, you start stacking it on top of each other. Now, that's just a simple idea, right? Go ahead and enter those figures on whatever you're comfortable investing. There are people who invest 1,000, a couple 100,000, 10,000, whatever, but you'll start seeing the exponential curve of how you need time to be able to build that wealth. So when we want to start thinking about, those milestones that we want to hit, 6 figures, $1 million, something to that effect, you got to understand that you got to put that into play for years. You got to start thinking in years. A lot of this stuff is not going to happen overnight. And we're talking about generational wealth. We're not talking about just a get rich quick scheme or a home run or an inheritance or like a lottery ticket or anything like that. When you want to build your wealth yourself, for you, your family, your loved ones, this is stuff that's going to take years to build. Okay, but once you do it and you set it, you just need time on your side and you'll see how that just takes off and it's ridiculous. Once you see it, you'll be super happy about it. All right, let's move on to the next one. All right, so real quick, and still going into the principle that I want to teach you guys, it's the ROI crash course. All right, when you look at any kind of investments, the idea is that you want a return on your investment. If I put $1 in, I want to get $2 out. That's pretty self-explanatory, okay? So any investment that you start evaluating, nobody wants to go into it to lose money, right? And we want to gain as much money as we possibly can. That's why the numbers make a lot of sense. When comparing, let's say, what a bank account gives you versus a business, it's clear cut. A bank might give you 0.2% interest. That's never gonna grow amount to anything, right? You're actually losing money because you're behind on the inflation rate in the economy, right? But then if all of a sudden you get into real estate and you invest in some properties, you can be looking at some double-digit ROIs. That makes a whole lot more sense. I'm gonna go into the formula that you guys need to know so you can do that. So real quick, some easy math. When you want to look at your ROI, you look at what your total gain is over your total investment. Okay, so let's say your total gain right there was $50,000, right? And you invested $50,000. So that's basically 100% total ROI, right? Makes sense? You put money in, you basically got your initial capital right back out. That's good. Now, if you want to look into that, into an annualized ROI, you start looking at it now and how long did it take me to recover my initial investment? So for example, you got your $50,000 back, but it took you 5 years to accumulate that. That's a 20% annual ROI. Guys following so far? Very, very simple math. And these are just examples. You can obviously plug in your own numbers and see exactly what you would like. Now, here's some very simple math for you so you can do it on the back of a napkin and you can see exactly what your investment looks like. So there's this principle called the rule of 72. Okay, the rule of 72 is quite simple. And what it does is it explains to you how long it will take for your initial investment to double. Because essentially everything is a doubles game. If I put $10,000 in, how long will it take at the current interest rate that I'm looking at investing for me to turn that 10 into 20? So what you do with this is you take 72, you divide it by your interest rate, whatever number that shows up, that's how long it takes you to double your money. All right, so real simple. I want you guys to pull out your calculator. I'm going to ask you a simple question so to see if you guys are participating. All right, and I would like to put an answer in the chat. I want you guys to go ahead and put 72% or just 72, right? And I want you to divide that by 8%. Now, what math did you guys come up with? Go ahead and put that in the chat. Yeah, 9. All right, we're off on a couple of zeros, but yeah, it's 9. All right, so what happens is when you looked at that, right? What you just found out is if you're collecting 8% interest on your investment, it's going to take you 9 years at that rate for you to double your money. That's what that means. So say that you started off with $10,000 capital, you put it in there and you're collecting 8%, which is pretty decent in today's economy, right? It will take you 9 years in order for you to double your money. Now, on the flip side, let me show you why it's a very bad idea to put your money into a bank account. Now let's do the same exact math. 72, we're going to divide it by 0.02, which is what the banks typically give you on a savings account. And I want you to enter on that. What number did you guys end up getting? I actually got 3,600. All right, let me show you how I did that, Michael. All right, can you see the camera? So 72 divided by 0.02, which is the percentage, 3,600 years is what it will take to double your money. I don't know about you, but I don't think that I'm ever going to live that long. Right? So as you can see that is just a horrible investment, a horrible idea of putting your money into a bank account.
So it's like sleeping there for nothing.
Exactly. That's why. And then here's the thing that people don't realize. Also, the inflation rate keeps changing. So every year it's costing you 3 or 4% more for the same goods that you're already used to. So you're always losing money. You're always in a deficit. That's why you have to invest it somewhere to be in what's called the positive arbitrage. You need to make more money than what's actually going out on inflation. Right? So let's go back to the same example. And now let's look at, let's say, a real estate investment portfolio, right? So let's go with 72, and we're going to divide that by, let's say, 20%. Let's say you make 20% on your real estate portfolio. And the number I'm coming up with it is a modest number, okay? Because I'm factoring in the cash on cash, I'm factoring in the appreciation, the depreciation, and then also the principal pay down. So when you accumulate all of that, it's not just cap rate, what I'm talking about. I'm accumulating everything together to come up with, let's say, a 20% modest return. Okay, so we're going 72. We divide that by 0.20%, 360. Right, so now we're talking about 360 years. Well, wait a minute. 72 divided by 20 is now 0.20. All right, so 72 divided by 20% is basically 3.6 years. So in 3.6 years, you just doubled your interest or your initial investment. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So see, that's why, and that's just one example of how the rule of 72 tells you this math really, really fast. You know, so let's say you have to put 10% or 20% down on a property, right? And you have a $200,000 property, right? You got to put $40,000 down to get this property. $40,000, you know, with the rule of 72 at 20, that means that 40 can turn into 80 in 3.6 years. You follow the math on that? Now, if I were to put that $40,000 and leave it in the bank account, collecting 0.02, what did I really get? Maybe $40,000 and $100 in 3 years? That makes absolutely no sense. So that's why this rule is a very crucial principle to investments. Once you guys understand this and you can start applying that to any opportunity that you see, you're going to be able to have a real quick snapshot on whether or not that investment makes sense or not. You don't have to listen to the rest of the business. You don't have to look at anything else. You just simply just look at the numbers and you're like, yes or no. It's just that quick. All right. So with that, guys, I want to finish it off for this week. Okay. I want to go ahead and share with you the, oh, you can't actually see that right now. Well, let me put that into the, me stop sharing real quick. I want to go ahead and put this into the link so you guys can see. If you like more information on this, definitely reach out to us and we can have more of a one-on-one conversation. Eventually I can get this. There we go. If a lot of these concepts, guys, made sense to you, and you would like to know more about it, hit the link in there and then just answer some of the questions on the Google form. All right, this is no hassle. We're not trying to sell you anything. This is education basically for free. The question on there is going to be things that kind of like interest you. Would you like to know more about growing your money, how to save some of the money that you have? Do you have a 401k that you need to rescue, so on and so forth? We'll go ahead and teach you guys some of the methods. And then if you want to act on that, whatever it is that you learn, by all means, we're here to assist you. Okay, my team and I, we could definitely talk to you guys, tell you about some of the strategies, some of the better solutions that you can have to be able to grow that wealth or even save what you got going on right now. And we'll be more than happy to help you guys out with that. All right, so with that, I would definitely like to sign off, tell you guys, have a great weekend. It's a long weekend, so definitely enjoy that. And I wish you guys well.